What the heck just happened? Let's talk about it. Here's some breaking news for you. I don't know what happened yesterday. Well, I do know what happened. We went to the cinema. I'm fascinated with the cinema, with films and movies and all that. But I've not actually been to the cinema. By the way, you're wondering why I'm wheezing a bit. I'm walking up the one hill in Suffolk. It's on the way into town. And we always say we don't have hills in Suffolk, but we have this one and it's very steep. Anyway, back to the cinema trip. So it was Bank Holiday Monday yesterday, and our girls came round. We didn't know what we were going to do, go for a walk or have lunch together or both. So we started having lunch together, and then we started chatting about this film that's come out recently, The Unlikely Pilgrimage of Harold Fry. And we all said we want to see it, and we thought we could break with tradition and go and see it at the cinema. I don't really go to the cinema anymore. I've not been to the cinema for years, mainly because I just get so irritated with people's phone screens in front of me lighting up, people chatting through the film. Well, I like to follow a story, and I don't like people chatting through the film. And if you're in a dark cinema, I don't want your Facebook page lighting up all over the place, just so distracting. So I haven't been to the cinema for ages. Anyway, it was suggested that maybe we could go and watch this at the cinema. And then one of the daughters looked up to see if it was on our local cinema in our little town of Stowmarket. And it was showing there, so we jokingly said, I wonder if it's on today. Didn't think it would be because it's bank holiday. And it was. So we're like, should we go and see it like in an hour's time? Very spontaneous. Not like us at all, we like to plan things. And I have to say it's the first time I've been to our local cinema, not only in a long time, but the first time I've been into the actual cinema part since it was renovated a couple of years back. So there's now 3 screens instead of just the old one in the theatre area. So yeah, we went screen 2, could recommend. So not as big as the main auditorium, but that was a good thing. So yeah, we watched the story of the unlikely pilgrimage of Harold Fry. If you don't know the story, it's actually based on the book of the same name by Rachel Joyce, which I read some years ago. And actually that's part 1 of a trilogy. But she used to write for radio, so her writing's really descriptive. Absolutely loved the book. And I was hoping the film would live up to the book. And it did. And then Jim Broadbent playing Harold, I mean, I probably thought of a character like him when I was reading the book. And Penelope Wilton, Maureen. Yeah, perfect casting. So I not only got into the film because I enjoyed the story in the book, and not only because of Jim Broadbent and Penelope Wilton's excellent casting positions, but also I'm sat with my wife and 2 daughters. I mean, this channel called Walks and Wanders, but all 3 of those walk a lot further than I do and more regularly. So the story of Harold Fry is he gets a letter. I won't spoil the full story, but the premise of the film is Harold Fry gets a letter from a old work colleague he'd not heard from years. And the letter sort of says that she's in a hospice in Berwick-upon-Tweed and she's not got long to live. And so Harold decides to write a letter back. But when he gets to the first post box, there's something not quite right, and decides to walk to the next one and then to the post office. And through a series of events that you'll see in the film or read in the book, he decides to walk from Devon all the way up to Berwick-upon-Tweed, which is about 500 miles. He's only got his like normal shoes on, he's not got any hiking gear or anything. because it just popped out to the post box. So that's kind of the story, this 500-mile walk and the things that happen on the way. I'm sat next to my youngest daughter, who a few years back, she walked the coast to coast. She did a little bit more preparation than Harold Fry, but not much. And so it was interesting sitting next to her while I was watching the story. And afterwards we chatted about some characters that Harold meets along the way, very, very similar to characters she met on a coast to coast walk. Coast to coast, I think, is 300 miles. Well, I think it says 293 officially, but no one ever does it. You know, you make some errors and detours and stuff, so it's about 300 miles. And she did it sort of wild camping along the way mostly. And then my eldest daughter and my wife recently walked the Sandlings Way. Not sure how far that is. It's at the Suffolk coast, but I'll put that on the screen here. They did it in bits over a series of weeks. But yeah, they walked all that way. So yeah, all three of them walk a lot further than I do. And I wish they all had YouTube channels, because I think their adventures are much more interesting than mine. Also recognised a couple of places in the film that actually this channel has gone to before, Walks and Wonders. There's a little scene outside Exeter Cathedral, and I recognise that's done one of my brothers lives there, and I've done a little Walks and Wonders video with him. And obviously Harold Fry's journey is to Berwick upon Tweed, and we went there I think last year, the year before, and in the sort of Northumberland video on this channel, we filmed a little bit of stuff in Berwick upon Tweed. But generally I just do like films that are about a journey, especially sort of long walks. There's a film called The Way, I like that as well. I can highly recommend the story of Harold Fry, and also recommend the new cinema here in Stowmarket. I'd also like to thank the people who were in the cinema watching it with us, who I didn't see anyone have their phone on during the film. Maybe because the story appeals to sort of people my age, I guess, but there were people of different ages there. But yeah, I appreciate that, and there wasn't really any significant chatting throughout the film. So I really enjoyed it, and filmed absolutely brilliant. They brought the book to life, and I think that's partly because they let Rachel Joyce, the author of the story, actually write the screenplay. So yeah, highly recommend. Go and see it. Thanks for watching today. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to give me a thumbs up on YouTube, and click the like button and hit that red subscribe button, and you'll get notifications of new videos. I'll see you in the next video.